The Garden Report is brought to you by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network.
Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report Part 2 here in Miami. We're about to take off and head back for Boston's Game 5 against Miami. And fortunately, I think we're going to see more Grant Williams in that game.
Yeah.
Second straight game.
He's in now. He's in the club.
Grant played 30 minutes, back to last year's role, a regular off this bench, in quick off the bench. Playing a little bit early, much like the team. I think he was stomping his feet and throwing his arms out. I really didn't like the look and body language of this group early in this game, but Grant's three-point shooting, a big reason why they were able to stay in it through that first half, only down 6 at half, and then break away in the third. A couple huge threes from him there. 4-6 from three, 14 points, 6 rebounds, that production we saw from last year. And he got the block on Jimmy Butler in that second half. A little bit of revenge for the Game 2 ending.
And I like the little stare that he gave, but didn't say anything. Not because I don't want him to poke the bear, Celtics fans, but I just like the focus of Grant.
He didn't say anything about it.
Jalen sort of alluded to that too during his post-game press conference. Like when Grant is focused and isn't distracted and is obviously a big part of the game plan when he's making shots, that's when he's most effective.
Here's Jalen on Grant.
Jalen, how big of an impact did Grant have for you guys on both ends?
Grant comes in and has to win, and when he plays composed and he keeps his head, he can be a tremendous asset. You just got to keep talking to him, keep letting him know where the game is at, keep telling him to make the right plays, play within his role, and I think that he did that tonight.
So you could just tell Jalen's like, this is the version of Grant that I can get used to.
It makes me wonder. So I've put it on Joe for a lot of this year, and this is where we'll get into it.
Well, in this series, you have to. If we're talking about Grant Williams, I mean, yeah, he's the one to blame because he took a long time to finally start playing. But how much should the
players say, this guy's just not getting it, he's not making good decisions, he's struggling? Let's do a little less Grant here.
It's got to be up to Joe Mazzulla in that case, though. I mean, whatever. Look, he figured it out now. Better late than never. But, I mean, you can see the clear impact that he makes on both ends of the floor, especially when he's inspired, especially when his back's against the wall. Celtics, obviously in an elimination game, but also he's playing for pride, right? I mean, everyone, it's for someone like Grant Williams to wake up the morning, the morning after, what was it, Game 3, and the whole poke the bear stuff, or was it Game 2, excuse me, the whole poke the bear stuff and all that. I mean, that's gotta fight. You gotta play not only for pride, but obviously every NBA player at this level, you have a sense of, you have that ego. And whether it was bruised or whether it was, trying to prove yourself, prove to your teammates, we saw that in Grant in game 4 for sure. And that meeting, I think, was good. It was huge for the Celtics team because I think it was a good chance for them to see, show how everyone's on the same page. And maybe it was a good opportunity for everyone to just voice how they feel. And that always helps for any team, especially when your back's against the wall and, facing an elimination.
The Garden Report is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you go to FanDuel.com/Boston.
Well, we know they didn't love what he did with Butler there. Between the next question from Brown and Tatum not thinking much of it, there wasn't support for Grant in that moment.
There wasn't one person that said, you know what, we still like Grant for what he did. Yeah, that's true.
You wondered if he'd fall out of the rotation again because of that, even though he played well in that game, and I thought he played well in Game 3. Instead, 30 minutes tonight, and I love the consistency and the willingness to go back from him and the trust, maybe the necessity. Al did play well in this game, so you could have rolled with him and Rob, who played well too, but they made an effort to get Grant out there more consistently. Part of that's Brogdon too, who I think's banged up now. He didn't play a ton here as that third guard, so you were able to tighten up to White and Smart and roll with Grant at that 4 spot. So I love it. I love this team's identity when he's out there. I love their switchability. And he just hits threes. I mean, he is 51% now from 3 in the playoffs on 30 looks. That's not enough looks, not enough minutes, and overall not enough impact from a guy who was, I thought, key to your finals run last year.
Yeah, but again, Bob, I just feel like, well, I say again because we've had this conversation before. I just think this is a different team, and obviously the way he had to sort of prove himself post All-Star break really is a huge difference compared to what we saw last year, where he was a vital part off the bench. Everyday player that we never ever throughout any point of last season thought to ourselves, oh, is Grant going to play tonight? You know, so that wasn't the case under Joe Mazzulla. But these guys trust him. You can see that, especially when they see how focused he is. And this was a great example of that in Game 4. I thought the play on Jimmy was huge. Obviously, those three-pointers were huge, but one of them in particular where Tatum had a chance, if he wanted to, could have took a three. No, he dribbled in, found him in the corner, and I just think those type of plays is what's going to help Grant. It's going to not only boost his confidence, but it just shows for the entire team, right, how impactful he is, when he's making that shot, especially when the team's offense is clicking and they're looking to close things out in that fourth quarter, which has just been a humongous struggle for the Celtics team throughout this series. Just late game execution and knowing how to close.
Extending, big part of it too. They built a big lead with threes.
Yeah.
That three-point shooting continues. Celtics going to have a real shot. And check out what I had to say about this series, how far it could go in our other video. And of course, check out all the post-game reaction here, including Grant's on CLNS Media. Subscribe on Celtics All Access. And check us out back in Boston for Josue Pavon. I'm Bobby Mann. This has been the Garden Report. Celtics winners. Should Grant Williams play some more? Let us know below, and we will see you back in Boston.
CLNS Media's Celtics coverage is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win.